G'day, Brett. Great to be chatting with you. Of course, you're General Manager of Alabar Australia, and I wanted to grab you hot off the press because we've just come out of the latest sales, the nutrient sales, and you did more than a Don Bradman. You got 100 out of 100 for the sales results. Well done.
Yeah, no, thank you, Adam. It was a very pleasing result for myself, but also the whole Alabar team and Alan as well. Alan was over the moon, which is always good when the boss is happy. But yeah, it was I don't know, it was just one of those days that you sort of dream about and everything goes right. You know, like I don't know, it was just it was just an incredible day. Incredible.
It certainly was. I want to talk a lot more about it and some of the highlights in a moment. I was going to chat with Alan, but Alan's busy doing horsepower of another kind. He's got a passion. I live in Albert Park, so I'm next to his passion, but he's huge on the car racing.
Yeah, he is. Thankfully now he loves sponsoring it. He used to drive it back in the early 90s and used to get on Sports Tonight for his crashes and that sort of thing. But he was actually pretty good at it. But yeah, no, he loves it. He loves the car racing. He loves anything fast. And yeah, so he's sponsoring the S5000, a couple of cars there. So they're competing on the weekend at Albert Park in the undercard of the F1. So it's exciting.
We had to pick the right time to do the interview. Otherwise, you would have had the cars as background noise for this one. But back to the sales. What were some of the, let's do it. The personal highlights for you. What were a couple of the great moments, not just out of Nutrien, but in the APG sales we've had so far. And, of course, we've got more to come over coming weeks as well.
Yeah, look, obviously we had great yearling sorrel results ourselves. So, we had over the whole year, we had 4 $100,000 yearlings, and that's last year was our first $100,000 yearling ever. So get that sort of growth is really personally satisfying. But I suppose from a stallion point of view as well, like to see how the Always Be Mickeys have been accepted and sort of, got into that, that top echelon of stallions in the commercial market. That was hugely exciting for us as a stud farm as well. So yeah, that was a couple of things there.
And you guys are particularly down in Victoria, but we know it's a national thing to some extent as well. But the trotters, you guys are huge into the trotters as well. And is that part of the vision of Alan and yourself, just from a global perspective?
Yeah, for sure. Like you can't help living in Victoria and having the farm in Victoria. You can't help but sort of get caught up in the trotter. Like the work that obviously Duncan and Pat have done previously, and many other people. Michael Taranto was behind it as well, and various other people throughout the whole history of developing these trotters. You can't help but get caught up in that. So we've to be honest, we hadn't had many trotting broodmares before. We were lucky to secure some really nice ones. We're growing that band. We had, Elite Stride debut last year. We bought a couple of trotters at the sales, some pretty, reasonably highly priced ones to give to Andy. So hopefully they might, develop into some nice race horses that we can retire to stud later on. So I know we're fully invested in the trotter, and it's definitely a growth area of the sport. And as you said, like the dream would be to someday, race a horse internationally for sure.
Oh, it'd be nice to have a runner in the Elite Lopper race. It's certainly close to my heart, isn't it? I think, those Aussies and Kiwis that have been part of it have certainly got the bug for that. But you mentioned last year being the first $100,000 yearling. It was probably also the first bearing of fruit from upping the ante, which Alabar did with its broodmare band 6 years ago.
Yeah, roughly around that time period. We made the conscious decision. We had probably 40 mares on our books or something like that. Being, in reality, they weren't the quality that we wanted, and they weren't serving any purpose, for us as a stud farm. So we decided to sell pretty much all of them, and there was some nice mares in there as well that have gone on to have good careers for other people as well. But we made that decision to sell them and then just sort of almost start afresh and really invest heavily in these mares. And yeah, look, it's not easy, and it does cost a fair bit of money. So credit to Alan there for putting his money where his mouth is. But it's sort of paying off now, and not only the yearling sale ring, but also the vision is there to support our stallions as well, because we've got some really nice stallions and they deserve that support, especially early in their career, where it's sort of hard sometimes to get other breeders to breed to those younger stallions. But yeah, look, it's been a bit of a journey, but hopefully it's just the beginning.
A couple of the bigger names in there, and they've already been an instant success, being Nike Franco and My Mackenzie as well. And I imagine they were major investments.
Yeah, they were for sure. I can't take too much credit for them. That was Alan. Alan loves to make a splash, and we purchased them through John Curtin when Alan was in New Zealand at one point in time, and yeah, they were significant investments, like a really good chunk of change. But to see their yearlings both sell super well this year is, like you get lucky sometimes in breeding. We're lucky to get two nice colts by them, by good stallions, and got rewarded this year. So it was great.
Talk about going chips in. I believe Nike Franco was served by Ride High. So you're certainly giving Ride High every chance. Want to talk a little, that's right, is it? She went to him?
Yeah, she did. Yeah. She's in fault to him. Yep.
Right. And what about him? We had that 12 months of will he race again, won't he? In the end, it became probably a bit all too hard, and he's now firmly entrenched as a stallion. But how many mares did he serve? How was his fertility? Because I think all of the fans like me on the racetrack, we want him to carry those good looks and performance into the breeding barn.
Yeah, so do we. So no, he did 103 mares this year, and like you always want more. Obviously, always as a stud master, you want more. But no, we're really happy with that. He handled the transition incredibly well. His fertility was really good. I think he was in terms of the in-foal percentage, he was third highest, just behind a couple of other Rock and Roll Heaven and Captain Crunch for us. So, but really good. So, but the good thing was he got some really good quality mares like Nike, and we actually, we've definitely put all the chips in the middle of the table with Nike and Arms of an Angel, Joyful Joy, a few others like that. So we've really invested in heavily, but. Like we obviously love him, but when you see him, he's the most magnificent looking horse you can ever see. Such a presence, and I just keep watching replays of him, in that last spell, and he was, he's just electric. He's as fast a horse as I've seen race, and hopefully can put that into his progeny.
He and many others we could name now. This is the best 2 or 3 year period we've had to build a mega stallion of our own, if you like, to create an Aussie Christian Cullen.
100%. Yeah, no, for sure. Like you look at the quality of those stallions that have gone to stud recently, like, Ride High and Vincent and Poster Boy, Soho Tribeca, Tiger Tara, our two ultimate horses, Machete and Sniper. Like they're really good quality horses, not only on the racetrack, but in their breeding as well. And the good thing is, like I know with us, we've got that broodmare band, we're supporting those stallions with some of our best mares, as I just said, but you've also got Lauriston supporting Poster Boy, Rob Watson supporting Soho Tribeca and stuff like that. So these stallions are getting good mares and good numbers and a real good opportunity to prove themselves. Now, whether they do or not, it's up to them, but that's what they need and they deserve.
Ride High's at the start of it all, just recently, and it's always sad to lose any horse, but particularly a stallion in Village Jasper, who was not only so good for you guys and the whole team, but for the breeding industry as well. Talk about leaving your mark.
Yeah, for sure. Like he was, it's a little bit the end of an era. He was that period where we had Jasper operative and safely kept. It was sad. He was 28, so he'd had a good life, and at the end after he retired, and we actually gelded him in Presidential Ball at the same time, and they became instant, great friends. But no, it was sad because he was just part of Alabar, and those sort of stallions, as a stud farm, the stallions, I suppose, take on an extra importance. But he was just a cool horse, like a really good personality. Everyone that had anything to do with him loved him. And it was sad, but all these things come to an end at some point, I suppose.
They certainly do. Brett, look, thanks so much for the update. Being a little selfish, I really love to hear more about Ride High and the fact that, you and others have given him absolutely every chance this year. So we're going to wait a little while before we see them on the track, but we're going to see the progeny of some of those other big name racehorses you mentioned fairly soon as well. So, and Vincent, of course, is doing a terrific job from what we've seen so far. Always great to catch up, Brett. Well done to you and the team at Alabar Australia on the great results of the sales so far.
No, really appreciate it, Adam, and thanks for your job as well promoting the sport. It's been great seeing all the work you're putting out.